But we begin tonight at 5:30 with the federal hate crime charges being filed against Tops mass shooting suspect Peyton Gendron. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland was in Buffalo this morning. He paid his respects at the scene of the Tops shooting and laid some flowers at the memorial. Garland, along with U.S. Attorney Trini Ross, then spoke about the federal hate crime charges being filed against the suspect. 10 of the 26 federal counts filed today are eligible for the death penalty. So tonight we welcome former U.S. Attorney Scott Allen Jr. joining us now to shed some light on these new developments. We welcome you. Thank you very much, Scott, for being here. Now, this suspect already had 25 charges filed against him by New York State. Today, he's charged with 26 crimes on the federal level. So explain to us, please, what is the difference here? What difference does this make in the case and to the suspect?
So first of all, Jackie, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. You're absolutely right. There is a state indictment pending right now with 25 charges, as well as a federal criminal complaint filed today with 26 counts. And if you were to read both of those and compare them, you will see many similarities because they all stemmed out of the same tragic hate crimes that we have all heard about so much about here in Buffalo, and that the families unfortunately are living here with today. The big difference, in my view, between the state and the federal charges that are pending right now depends on whether the Department of Justice seeks the death penalty in the federal criminal prosecution.
And when would we know that?
Well, it's a long process that ultimately the decision lies with the Attorney General himself. But there are so many factors that go into that decision, as well as procedural hurdles that need to be cleared before the Department of Justice could even seek the death penalty.
And even at this moment, I think the Biden administration is not allowing the death penalty, right?
There has been a moratorium on the death penalty in the United States since Merrick Garland took over here. But I suspect that in this particular matter, and this is just my view, I think they will take a hard look at it. Okay.
Will both the state and federal cases be adjudicated together? Are they parallel? Or does one wait for the other? And who goes first?
So they are parallel, and there's no reason why they can't continue on a parallel track. Obviously, in this matter, the district attorney's office got out front, arrested the accused very quickly, and he's been incarcerated since then. And soon thereafter, the district attorney's office was able to present an indictment to the grand jury and have that indictment returned. The criminal complaint on the federal side, on the other hand, was filed just today. I suspect that law enforcement officials, the district attorney, and the U.S. attorney have been working hand in hand in their investigation and will continue to pursue justice on parallel tracks moving forward.
You say working hand in hand, but in the past we've heard that some of these agencies have a hard time working together. Do you see that changing now?
I don't think there will be any issue with these law enforcement officials working together. I know that the district attorney, my former colleague, Trini Ross, they will work together with law enforcement officials, including Sheriff John Garcia, the Buffalo Police Department, the FBI. I have no doubt that they will all work together to make sure justice is done for the families here.
Okay, I want to ask you about the length of time this is going to take, because of course we have victim family members, other people in the community want to see justice done, and they want to see justice done now. But it doesn't always work that way. In fact, Trini Ross said today, the U.S. attorney, the prosecution may not be fast, but will be thorough. So what do you think about the length of time here?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying that I have no doubt that when my former colleague Trini says that the U.S. Attorney's Office will be thorough, that is absolutely what they're going to do, because they want to make sure that they leave no stone unturned here, and that every step they take in the procedural process is done perfectly. And part of that is because nobody wants an appeal here, right? Nobody wants to try this case twice. Nobody wants the victims' families and the survivors of that shooting to have to relive this tragedy even one more time. So they're going to be very deliberate It might take time, but justice will be done here.
Okay, nobody wants to make a mistake, certainly. Finally, I want to ask you, it was revealed today that the suspect left a note apologizing to his parents for the attack. And to me, as a layperson, could that be considered an admission of guilt, a confession? He said to his parents what he was going to do, he apologized for it, and he did it, allegedly. And what about all the plans he wrote online as well? He had plans written there, the video that showed the attack. Could all these be considered admissions of guilt?
All of those pieces of evidence that you just mentioned, the video, the manifesto, the online posts, the letters, those are all absolutely compelling pieces of evidence, and they are overwhelming evidence of guilt. The written pieces in particular, you could view them as admissions, and I think, I know that the prosecutors in this case will rely heavily on those exhibits in convicting this accused.
All right. Scott, is there anything else that people should know about this case and what happened today going forward?
Just that I'm confident that justice will be done here, because I'm just so proud of my former colleagues, my friends in the DA's office as well, and I know that they'll work tirelessly to make sure the right thing happens here.
All right, Scott Allen Jr., we thank you so much for being here. I hope you'll come back as the case moves forward. We may have a certain amount of time to do that.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Scott.